Tell people where they can get their tickets and to use codes.
Ticketmaster, Combat Zone 87. You tap the unlock section. You type in Santiago. You can get a discount on your tickets.
Boom.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't type in Santiago, we will find out and come to your house.
And you're my next opponent. If you don't
Yeah,
use
goddamn
Santiago,
right.
So you gotta be ready for
Yeah,
it.
I gotta book this calendar out, bud.
Next opponent at your house. On your front doorstep.
At least, you know me,
Are
kid.
you're not training still, are you?
I haven't been. I gotta get back.
No jiu-jitsu,
Yeah,
no nothing?
I've been a bitch. I hit the bag like
Come
once
on,
a month,
Donnie.
dude.
Gotta
I
come
know,
on,
Right?
yeah.
What the fuck?
Dude, I know. I've been fucking in a
Unbelievable.
rut.
You guys went to the same place for a while. Was it for
Still
just
do, yeah.
jiu-jitsu?
No.
What's
no.
that?
New England Top Team, bro.
And that's where you train mostly, right?
Hell
They
yeah.
teach you more than just
Everything, yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I don't fuck with jiu-jitsu at all, dude. I'm a
Is-
kickboxer, bro.
Really?
Yeah, I hate
Oh, see, so
grappling.
I
I'm so
didn't
bad
know.
at it.
So they do everything though? What, like one night's jiu-jitsu or one class of jiu-jitsu, one class
Yeah.
is fucking top?
Yeah,
Or
it's
whatever, striking.
Multiple nights. We got jiu-jitsu. There's multiple nights of striking. We have a day for wrestling, a day set for just sparring, so like live punching, kicking, all that shit. You know what I'm
And what do you
saying?
work on mostly for you? Wrestling, just to keep your fucking
It's been
A
a lot
game?
of grappling this
Yeah.
fight camp. You know, after my last one, fucking, that was definitely my weak point. You know what I'm saying? Working up, I was too uncomfortable on my back. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? So
yeah.
working off my back, trying to stand up, shit like that. You
So
know
it
what
really
I mean?
depends on who you're fighting too, right? Like the way,
Yeah.
right?
It all depends on the game plan and shit like that. This guy mixes shit up very well. You know what I'm saying? He's very good at. He'll throw a couple combos, nice kick. Throw a couple combos, nice takedown attempt. You know what I mean?
Has he been doing it longer than you? Like the fighting?
I believe this is gonna be his fourth fight. This is my third.
Oh,
So he's
so-
got one more. About the
What's
same.
is he your age? What's his like expertise? Is he a wrestler like you, or is he a striker? What do you grow up
He
doing?
did actually wrestle. He wrestled for Springfield. His name's Isaiah Longs. He fights at a fighting arts academy in Springfield, I believe. But it seems like his style has been more like striking based as he's been fighting. Yeah, he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, I believe, so that's why we've been ramping up a lot on the takedown defense, the submission defense, how to get up if he does take me down, different shit like that, how to get off with my back up against the cage and all that good shit.
Well, jiu-jitsu, right? They'll take you down and they'll want to be on their back usually, right? No?
Yeah, well, they're looking for submission, so that's one of the more dominant positions, just to be on his back, try to choke him out, rear naked choke, things like that. But there's submissions on top. There's different ways to hold your legs, how to hold their arms down, like, you know what I mean? There's
like-
a bunch of things you can do.
Oh, for sure.
It's about getting submissions, whether it's you're trying to break a limb on certain extremities, or if you're trying to choke them, something like that.
We're wrestling, it's pinning, right? But there's not really you didn't grow up learning submission.
No, yeah. A lot of the moves, a lot of submissions in jiu-jitsu would be illegal in wrestling. You'd get disqualified for trying to do them, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking win, though. Fuck them.
But you'd fuck them up,
Yeah.
right? You'd definitely fuck them up.
Only one of us is standing right now, motherfuckers.
So like,
Unless it's awake.
Yeah, exactly.
my understanding too of fighting is usually like, and this is only because I played UFC fucking undisputed 2009 for fucking
Oh, dude,
years.
you're an expert then.
So yeah, I don't know, I'm an expert. But like there's usually like each fighter has a top game and a bottom game and a ground game, right? So like
Yeah.
it's either boxing, usually it was, you know, there were only a few options, but it was boxing, kickboxing, or Muay Thai for the top. And then it was like back then wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and I think it was judo that was considered the three bottoms.
They're the bottoms.
The low game, the ground game, I mean.
Grapple, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But like
And they're
so,
still all there, but I think as the sport evolves, everyone gets more well-rounded. You
Right.
know what I mean? A lot of those fighters or who fought back then are now training the people who are coming up today. So they've already got all the different aspects from fighting, and they're bringing it down. You know what I mean? There was a lot of training back in the day where it was like, if you're a boxer, we're going to just box, and it would get into an issue if you were to face a wrestler. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly.
Now, I think even if you are more of a boxer, you still have good takedown defense. You still have decent kicks, or at least you can defend your takedowns, defend your kicks, things like that. You know what I mean? It's not as like one
Like singular.
straight thing, one singular thing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah, everyone's like
Yeah.
you said, kind of versed in everything.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, even if it's not something you plan on using, you still got to know about it and know like what
Yeah.
it looks like, what it looks like coming at you, how to defend it. So
That's the biggest thing, how to defend. Like
Yeah.
if you may be a boxer and may never want to shoot a takedown in your life, but you got to know how to defend one, because you're gonna face a wrestler at some point who's gonna
Well,
be
that's
on
the
your
thing too.
ass.
Wrestling, I mean, you know, right? Like, you know, you have a top game. You're up top. If you ever felt out of your comfort zone, you just take them down and fucking do what you know. You know what I mean? Where if you're going up against someone who's a jiu-jitsu, they want that. No, they want to be taken down, put on their back. So it's like, I'm not necessarily mounted, but that original position, that's where they're strongest, right?
Exactly. So it's about, that's where the game planning comes in. You know what I'm saying? What's this guy good at? Does he like to go to the ground? If he does, I got to defend these certain things and implement what I like to do. You know, if he's a striker and wants to throw heavy kicks, I got to be prepared to catch him on the way out and then attack him. You know what I mean?
So what's your striking game? Are you boxing? Are you doing kickboxing?
We're doing everything. I'm more so MMA rather than anything specific.
Okay,
You know what I mean? I think my style isn't pure wrestling anymore. You know, at one point it was like I'm doing nothing but wrestling, but we've ramped up a lot of the jiu-jitsu, working on my back, getting up, getting off the wall, cage, things like that. But also the striking, throwing the hands, working the combos. I'm really tall, long for my weight class, so...
I know, 145, huh?
Yeah.
I weigh 140 right now, and I'm thin. Like, I'm thin.
What are you, like 6 feet tall, too?
Right? You're 6 feet?
5'10".
You're 5'10"?
5'10".
No
That's
way.
it?
He's
Really?
being humble.
Maybe I grew.
He's
Maybe
being
I
humble. Nah. Kid's 6 feet. He's
Well,
6'2", bro. Fuck that.
Do they
Monster.
take a height test at all for the
I gotta
for
get
the
a
match?
physical, and that's where I get.
So your last one, though, was 5'10"?
Yep.
Damn. So then maybe I'm like 5'8".
So the last physical I got, because you don't have to get it every time you fight it. It goes
Once a
for
year or
certain period of
something,
time. Yeah. So the last physical was, I think, October of 2023, and I got 5'10".
That's still like, I mean, that's skinny. That's
For-
light for you. What do you sit at normally
For
without fighting?
145, probably between 60 and 65.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'll sit at naturally like in between 140, 145 and in that area. But if I were to cut it, probably fucking be at like a 125, with whatever the lightest fucking weight class is.
Right there, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids down at atom weight fighting
20
against women.
pounds, right? That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
15, 20.
It's a lot for anybody, but it's definitely a lot for the smaller guys because you
There's
have
no room
less
to-
weight to
Yeah,
lose.
it's
you
Yeah, it's
know
about
what I
percentage,
mean?
yeah.
There's no room.
Exactly. Like I could do 20 pounds, but it's gonna be harder for me than it was for a heavyweight to lose 20 pounds. He could do that in a day, probably.
What's your
you
weight,
know what I mean?
division called? Middleweight?
Featherweight.
Featherweight? Oh,
Yep.
so then what's the lightest called?
The lightest is flyweight. For
Flyweight?
men. For men, it's flyweight, and that's 125.
And then the next one's featherweight?
Bantamweight at 35.
Bantam at 35, so 10
Featherweight at
pounds.
45.
Next one is middleweight, 55?
Is lightweight at 55.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, middleweight's a ways to go.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
welterweight too,
I didn't know
yeah.
there was that many.
No, middleweight's 185. That's like getting up there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
185
stacked.
is middleweight.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
If you're cutting weight in at 185,
That's exactly.
You know what I mean?
They're at least 200 pounds. Some guys have heard it getting up to like 220. You know what I mean?
Paulo Costa. Fuck yeah, dude.
Exactly.
Just
Alex
walking
Pereira.
fucking masses. Yeah. I don't know how. That's fucking wild.
Right?
But, yeah.
He's the champion at 205 pounds now. So he's cutting to make 205, but he used to be the champion at 185.
damn.
He's a massive motherfucker.
Holy shit. And now, like, I know your diet, it's not like you fucking, are conscious of fucking, eating greens and all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do to lose weight? What do you do to keep weight down?
Well, I have to do that when I'm training for the
Do you?
fight. You know what
So
I
you
mean?
eat shit you don't like? You're like,
outside,
"Oh."
outside of fight camp, I am notorious for having a pretty bad diet. Everyone knows that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's about locking in and being disciplined. You know what I mean? It's not always greens. I'm not a big salad guy, but I do have a lot of fruits, apples, bananas, grapes, shit like that.
It's probably
A lot
helped
of
you expand your
chicken.
palate. The shit you never would have eaten.
Exactly. It definitely does. And especially because there was a time like cutting weight in high school where I was so picky that I would only eat certain things. Then it was like, oh, this sucks now because I'm eating the same exact thing every single day.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Sometimes multiple times a day, So it's definitely helped me branch out so I can all right, let me have this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner, and then next day it'll be something different. Maybe the third day I'm back to what I had on day one, but at least there's some sort of variety where it's not the same exact thing over and over again. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of his dieting, cutting out the carbs, cutting out any junk food, cutting out fast food, shit like that.
It's
you know
not
what I
easy.
mean? So it's not easy. It's fun. That shit tastes good, but
Or just sitting in bed late
winning's
night
better.
hungry.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get munchies at the end of the night. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Snacks, ice cream, like anything like all the good stuff. You gotta
Yeah.
to the sex. At the end of the day, food isn't for fun. It's for fuel. It's to fuel your body to live life and do whatever it is you're gonna do. If you're gonna compete in any sport, but specifically fighting, you gotta fuel it with good shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
For
you
6
are,
weeks.
You are what you eat. They say.
Right?
For 6 weeks.
Right.
So, how long have you known? When do they set you up with who you're gonna fight? How long is that where you know who you're fighting? You
Well,
can train properly.
so Isaiah Long is actually my second opponent. My first opponent originally pulled out, so I got the contract for that fight about It'll be 2 months before the fight date is when I first got it. So like the beginning of December roughly, and then about like right before New Year's we got the call that he was out, and so there was a couple days like, oh, we may have a new opponent. I may have to not fight this card. You know what I mean? But I was able to get a new guy. So about that was probably like right after New Year. So I've known for almost a month now who this guy is particularly, but I've been training for 2 months.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
what's like?
sorry about that.
No, you're good. What were you gonna say?
It's gonna be kind of weird too, coming from wrestling, because like it's such a small, tight knit community that like everyone kind of, even if you don't know them, you know of them. So like it's gotta be kind of weird to be like, oh, I've known this kid since we were like 12 years old in singlets on the fucking mats, and now I gotta go fight him in front of a crowd. So
Right.
it definitely has like a different perspective. Like, what's that like going in, like knowing, oh shit, I've known this guy for like a while.
Right. So I didn't know Isaiah particularly when we were wrestling, you know, but doing research on him for this fight, I was like, oh shit, he was wrestling around the same time as me. I believe, give or take, either we graduated the same year, maybe he was a year younger than me, but it was around the same time. How I found him, I looked up his name, and a guy had posted a video for Springfield Wrestling. And I knew about the guy already because he had posted a video of me when I wrestled a Springfield kid in high school. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh shit, that's, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Small world, I guess. You don't see it until you look up his name specifically, you know what I mean? But, I don't know, it's cool. Like, even just in fighting the 2 fights I've had, there's been guys on the card that I did compete with. Not necessarily wrestled against, but we're wrestling at the same time as
Yeah,
me.
just in the circuit.
Exactly. So it's cool seeing that and seeing guys keep going, keep expanding, you know, still competing. Like, they still have that itch, you know what I mean? It's really cool, and I like seeing that. And wrestling's the toughest sport in the world.
Facts. That's why I hate it.
It's a consistent grind, but when you're in it, nothing else is going to be harder than that. You know what I'm saying? Fighting comes with many challenges. Not particularly easy, but it's not harder than wrestling. Not harder than the grind of wrestling.
No,
you know,
facts.
if you can get through that, you can get through anything. And so seeing other guys still progressing off of that is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's got to add like an extra layer of respect. 'Cause it's like, oh, I know what you're coming from. I know what you've been through. I know the road that you took to get here.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Even Isaiah, you know, he wrestled, so he knows what it's like. He knows what it's like to be on a grind and to it be consistent, and he puts the work in, and he's willing to work, and that's like excites me. You know what I mean? I don't want to face someone who's fucking coming off the streets and is a lazy piece of shit. You
Yeah,
know
no,
what
it's
I'm
no
saying?
fun.
I want someone who's tough and who's gonna fucking push me to be the best that I can be. You
Fuck
know?
yeah. Fuck yeah, brother.
You don't get better, you know, with the easy shit.
Exactly.
Right.
It does nothing for me. It does, you know, maybe make me look cool, but it look a lot cooler beating someone good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So.
I mean, your first fight was fucking
yeah, it was
in and out.
In and out.
In and out.
It was in and out, you know, and respect to him for taking the fight and getting in there, because fighting is still very tough.
Was that also
And it
his first fight?
It was his first
Yeah.
fight, yep.
Mm.
And so, respect to him for doing it. And he didn't quit. I think you know, it is what it is. You know, sometimes you get overwhelmed, overpowered, shit like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, you didn't know what to
And-
expect either that first fight. Were you nervous going out there?
Oh yeah,
Right?
oh yeah.
I mean, you're confident, but you're also, there's
Exactly.
some jitters in there.
I've always, even in wrestling, I always got nervous. I was always anxious, would get butterflies and stuff like that. But it goes back to believing in your training. You know what I mean? If you're truly putting in the hard work and doing the things you're supposed to do, then you're good. You know that you can, all right, I may feel nervous, but I can fall back on what I've been working on. You know what I mean? I can fall back. If you believe in your coaches, I can fall back on them. They believe in me. I can go forward and keep doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's all about, like I said, believing in your work, believing in who you're with, things like that, and let the rest play out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a big thing, too, is go out and perform. Don't
show up.
Don't get worried about wins and losses, and certain things in life you're not going to be able to control. Control what you can control and let everything else
Be
play
present.
out, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
be present, be mindful in the moment.
Yep.
I feel like wrestling teaches you that too with that grind. You can't even think because you're grinding so fucking hard every day, whatever. Like you said, wrestling's a challenging sport.
Exactly. You wrestle twice a week for 3-4 months straight. You know what I mean? Saturdays are a lot of tournaments, so you're gonna wrestle 4 to 6 times in that day. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're gonna take a loss in wrestling. Well, guess what? You have another match in like 30 minutes. So you suck it up and get ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gives you that grit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And the inverse is true too, because like you can't get too big of a head, because you can go out and smash somebody and just have an absolutely wild competition and be like, oh, okay, well I got another one 10 days from now, so I gotta get right back in.
Exactly.
So.
Yep, there's not too much patting on the back. Right?
And it even goes back on that on a smaller scale in a match. You know what I mean? You could be down huge, and then out of nowhere you can throw into his back and pin him. In a fight, you can knock him out. You can choke him. You know what I mean? You can never want to be confident. You know, I coach high school wrestling. I tell all my guys, you're treating every single person you face the exact same. Whether they're an Olympic champion, whether they're a first-year JV wrestler, you go out there and you dominate to win. Because you never know what they're going to have. They could have something up their sleeve, and then you're fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, overly confident, right?
Exactly.
Blindly confident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have the confidence to get out there, but, yeah.
100%.
For sure. Yeah, no, and then the second fight I didn't get to go to, unfortunately. When was that?
That was August of 2024.
And the first one was what, March?
November of 23.
Oh, so it's over.
It's on my birthday.
A year.
My birthday.
Oh, it was your
Oh
birthday?
yeah, that's right. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Fucking way to celebrate.
It was.
That was fun.
That was awesome.
Right?
Yeah, you made it onto the Combat Zone Instagram page. Fucking jumping up.
Suit and everything.
I know, yeah, oh yeah. I know, that was good, and I incorporated that into my own little video.
Hell yeah.
No, that was fun for sure. I'm going to do the exact same thing. This arena's a lot bigger than that, so it's like, I'm not going to be able to even get as close as I was when I did that first one.
Maybe not, yeah.
Probably not, honestly.
This is the
But
type of
still.
arena you get up and you rush the cage and you're getting pulled out by security.
You get tackled.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Cops are coming.
Yeah, it's not in a hotel conference room, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. And does that make you, did that intimidate you on your second one, going from, small to a real arena?
Not particularly. My teammate had a kickboxing fight, Justin Olivero,
Shout
kickboxing
out.
champion, Combat Zone. He had fought at the SNHU Arena once or twice. I think maybe just once before I did. So I was able to go there and kind of be there. You know what I'm saying? And kind of get a good feel for it. So that wasn't really I had anxious because, like I said, with wrestling, I was always anxious, always getting nerves before a fight, stuff like that. I think I wasn't present in the moment a lot during the fight. Talking about going out to perform, I don't think I performed to the best of my ability.
So I missed
wasn't
it too.
present. I was thinking too much.
Yeah.
Or not, at least not thinking the right things. And again, worrying about things that I couldn't control rather than focusing on what I could control and doing what I was capable of. I think I did the opposite, you know. And my opponent, Andrew Reyes, he perfect game plan, you know, and he stuck to it, and he gritted through the whole fight, you know what I mean? So props to him.
Was it a long fight? Was it 2 round, 1 round?
It was
3
the end of the
rounds?
third round. I got caught in a submission. Rear naked choke, he got me.
He's jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu guy, yep. He did really good, strong base. He was able to keep a good, solid position, and when he found that opening, he got it and he took it. You know?
Was most of the fight on the ground?
A lot of it was.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a lot of up against the cage and working from the ground, you know what I mean? So because of that, that's why this time around it's been, really ever since then, before this fight camp even happens, a lot of getting up on bottom, a lot of getting my back off the cage, maybe different submissions off my back, things like that, you know what I mean?
And now you're more comfortable going against someone who's well-versed in jiu-jitsu or whatever, comfortable on their back.
Yeah, definitely more comfortable, you know, still got things to work on.
Oh, yeah,
Continue to work on them, but I definitely feel better for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's is that the opposite of wrestling? It's hard for wrestling going against a jiu-jitsu person? You think which ground game do you think is stronger?
I mean, I'm always going to side with wrestling.
Well, Joe Rogan will say wrestling. He said if you know wrestling, you can pretty much have the capacity to beat pretty much anybody.
100%. It's all about positioning, you know what I mean? A wrestler can get a takedown, but if takes him down and then is out of position, then you're going to get caught in a choke, you're going to get caught in an armbar, or a leg lock, whatever it may be. But wrestling has wrestlers have such good pressure and go forward a ton that sometimes, even without submissions of their own, they can get a takedown on top and hold guys down there. You know what I mean? So that's why I think wrestling will be the best, because you can control so many positions. Even if you're not 100% skilled in certain things, you can kind of control. You know what I'm saying? But some jiu-jitsu guys love facing wrestlers because they want them to shoot a takedown so they can immediately jump for the neck or jump for the arm or something like that, try to get a submission right away. Or they're really just comfortable being on their back, and they can work from there for different things.
Yeah, it also goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like, if you're going to be a pure wrestler, you don't have to be a jiu-jitsu black belt specialist, but you do have to have like a basic understanding of what's going on, so you don't just blindly shoot a double and not worry about where your neck's going to be and get wrapped up in a guillotine. So even if it's not what you want to do, you still have to know a little bit about it so you can negate what they're trying to do.
Exactly, 100%.
Now with your striking, can you head kick somebody?
I can.
Yeah. So you're stretching, you're pushing that leg.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's.
And I'm tall, so I got long legs. You know
Yeah.
And so I'm able to use it well. It's funny because when I first started fighting, I remember saying, like, I'm not throwing kicks. I'm not a kicker. I'll box, I'll wrestle, submissions, jiu-jitsu, stuff like that, but I'm not kicking. And now it's like, oh, I kind of like the kick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once you get comfortable, I think your legs have way more power, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just think, you can normally squat more than you can bench or whatever.
Curl, whatever.
Exactly. Because of the power that comes from your legs, It's a little harder to land a kick because you can kind of see them coming, or, they're a little further away, so you have to land it properly,
Leaves you open too, right? If you don't get that, it can leave you open to fucking getting taken down or a counter.
100%.
Right. But head kicks. I mean, I can't kick high, but I can only imagine that takes time, right, before you're able to.
Yeah.
Right?
The biggest thing is the technique. If you don't know the technique, then your kicks are going to be awful. You know what I'm saying? But then also being able to stretch. Luckily with wrestling, I've been able to have good flexibility. That portion wasn't too hard for me. It was more so getting the technique down, how to place my feet properly, how am I going to whip my leg into certain areas where I want it to land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've seen a ton of progress with yourself outside of wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you've been striking a while, fighting over a year, and
100%.
You know what I mean? Which equals confidence. That's like, all right, wow, I'm getting the hang of this technique.
Right.
You know what I mean? You see that progress. That builds grit too.
Oh, yeah. I definitely feel a lot more comfortable on the feet. Comfortable. I honestly feel like I could be in a kickboxing fight or even a boxing match, whatever, but it's where I'm at. I'd rather focus on MMA, you know what I mean? But skill-wise, comfortability-wise, I know I don't need the wrestling. I can do just striking because of where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And since you've been training to fight and everything, have you let off that gas with training? I know that you had a fight kind of get either canceled or postponed or whatever. Are you just straight every week, same training, or not the same training, but just, are you still putting that work in even when you don't have a scheduled fight?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It definitely lightens up a bit, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm doing 1 a day rather than 2 a day, different things like that. It's definitely not as much, but I'm still training all the time.
It's a lifestyle.
Exactly.
Right?
100%. And it's like that way with wrestling. I didn't do any other sports, When wrestling season ended, it was right to off-season wrestling, and I was wrestling throughout the spring, throughout the summertime, too. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm taking it a little bit later than I would during the grind of the high school season, you know what I mean? But it's still training to get better. How do you fix what went wrong in the last fight, or what can I improve on? And then fight camps are a lot of specific, like, how's this guy fight? What am I going to do to defend what he's going to do? You know what I'm saying? So the improvements come in between the fight camps, I think. You know what I mean? In terms of fixing what went wrong. And then the fight camps are more tuning up what we're going to do specifically game plan-wise.
Dialing it all in.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
That's what life's about with many things, not even just fighting or anything, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it's about multiple things other than just the technique, like I said, with the food. We got to eat right, we got to work out, get the cardio right. There's so much things other than just the technique that go into being a fighter and being able to fight.
And you feel like you take a hit well?
Oh yeah, I got
Yeah.
a hard head. I've always had one. I got a
Big ol'
ass
head.
I got a big ass head.
Big
that's
old
for
head.
sure.
Hard to miss. No, I'm just kidding.
It is
I'm
hard
just
to miss. That's why I gotta move. Gotta
yeah,
keep moving.
keep bob and
buddy.
weave him. The Mike Tyson fucking.
Exactly. If I stand still, they got a big ass target right in the middle.
What's your
you
What's
know?
your thoughts on the Tyson fight? Did you think that was just totally fucking prearranged?
Boo.
I don't think so. It sucked. It was not.
It was so
It was not
shitty.
fun. But Mike Tyson's like 60.
But you
years
watched
old.
his training
Yeah.
videos. He didn't look like that in the fight.
Yeah,
He
for
still looked
10
like a
seconds
fucking-
at a time. You can't do that.
Well, I know, and that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's also
It
true.
wasn't full sparring rounds where he's going up against someone. You know what I'm saying? And the guy, those clips, he's facing his coach that's wearing pads. You know, he's not facing a 27-year-old in the prime of his physical ability. You know what I'm saying? And at this point in time, Jake Paul is not a bad boxer. You know,
Yeah,
it's
painful to say, but it's true.
He is skilled enough that you cannot take him lightly. You know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Don't sleep
and
on
not
him.
that Mike was taking him lightly, but Mike is 60 years old. You know, if Mike was 27, we're not even having this conversation. Jake Paul doesn't take the fight if Mike's 27.
I know, right?
He's not going to risk it. You know
That's
what
the
I mean?
truth, though.
But he's skillful enough and has been in there. One of the big ones is Tommy Fury. He lost that fight, but he's a legit professional boxer, and Jake went the distance with him. You know, some people tried to argue in Jake's favor. I don't think so. I think Tommy won it. But that's a pro boxer, and he was able to go who is the same age as Jake, not 60-year-old
I
pro
know.
boxer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not an undersized, overweight, undersized, old age UFC fighter. You know what I'm saying?
That was never a striker to begin with, anyways, too.
Exactly. The first 3-4 UFC fighters he fought were wrestlers.
Yeah.
You know, or jiu-jitsu guys. He's not fighting, and they all competed most of their careers in the 170s, maybe 185, where a lot of these boxing fights are at like 195, 200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's cutting down to make this weight where they're gaining weight or just naturally what they walk around at. You know what I'm saying? Because they haven't been competing. You know.
Eating ice cream every night in fucking training camp.
This guy just got off the couch.
Pretty much, yeah.
Jake Paul's definitely likes to pick and choose who he's facing and shit like that. But he's skillful enough that he can beat a 60-year-old guy.
Well, how did this fight
if
even-
he was a champion before? You know what I'm saying?
How'd this fight even come into play, though? Like, what was the whole hype around it?
I think Saudi Arabia is just willing to throw money at goddamn anything, so...
Right?
Yes.
Like, something like that. Like, there was really no... Because it's like you said, if Jake Paul isn't the best, why was Tyson even doing it? Or what was the challenge? I
Money.
don't get...
Yeah, literally.
Literally
It's-
just money. It's
yeah,
a
that's
hype.
it.
It was hype.
Yeah.
Money, Netflix stole money because actually it wasn't Saudi Arabia. It
Oh,
was
you're right,
in
yeah.
Dallas, Texas. But it was streamed on Netflix. So Netflix was like, let's
Made a ton of money.
get into this and streaming stuff. Yeah, that's really what it
It's
was.
hype.
Money. Mike Tyson probably
Money.
made more on that fight than a lot of the fights he's had combined.
You're right.
Every single fight, but he made a pretty penny off of that.
He fought a few years back, didn't he, too?
Roy Jones Jr., yeah.
Right? Yeah, and he lost. Did he... Or that was a draw.
Yeah, it was a draw. It was a
I
non-sanctioned
think it was
match.
it was an
Yeah.
exhibition, so there was no official winner or loser.
This one wasn't an exhibition, the Jake Paul fight?
No, that was pro.
I'm not sure, honestly.
I thought it was considered
No,
an
it was a pro
exhibition.
fight.
It was?
Yeah. Yeah, they had shortened rounds, but it was a sanctioned pro fight.
Okay.
Did you watch the John Jones stuff next day?
What,
Like
against
the
Stipe?
fights? Right? Didn't he have the fights the next day?
Was it the next day?
It was, yeah. Because I
It
remember
might have
that
been.
weekend. It was like a whole friggin' weekend of fights.
Oh, that's right, because that Paul was Friday night. Correct?
Yeah.
The Paul Tyson fight.
Mhm.
So I did watch him against Stipe. I did watch that fight.
That whole, did you watch all of them, the whole card?
I believe I watched. I can't remember honestly what exactly the card was, but I did watch a good chunk of it.
I watched
definitely
it all.
watched the main event. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. It was a good, every fight I thought was like super entertaining. Even the last one, of course. But some of them were like, oh my God. Like it was just a great, sometimes you see fights and you're like, this isn't as entertaining as you'd want. Sometimes it's, oh my fucking God. You know what I mean? Like, holy
Exactly.
fuck.
It's kind of
Seriously.
ironic that was the same weekend as the Tyson-Paul fight, because that one was another one where it's like, all right, Stipe is 42, hasn't fought in like 4 or 5 years, coming off a knockout loss when he did fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of, it was like literally like an old school weekend. So
Right.
yeah,
Old school heavyweight champs.
pretty much, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. You excited? You ready?
I am excited.
I gotta buy all these tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking
I'm
of which, where
excited.
can people
13
get
tickets to buy.
You gotta tell people where they can get their tickets and to use codes.
Yep. You can get your tickets on Ticketmaster, Combat Zone 87. You tap the unlock section. You type in Santiago. You can get a discount on your tickets.
Boom.
And if you don't type in Santiago, we will find out and come to your house.
And you're my next opponent. If you don't
Yeah,
do
goddamn right.
So you gotta be ready for
Yeah,
it.
we gotta book this calendar out, bud.
Next opponent at your house, on your front doorstep, and coming for you.
Damn right.
100%.
So if I buy these 13 tickets, I'm gonna have to do like what we were saying, 2 rows.
Yeah.
And I can just put on that because it gives me the option to buy them all at once. So just put that code in once or whatever, and I'll get.
Yeah, so you tap unlock. There's when you go on the Ticketmaster, there's a little button at the top that says unlock. If you tap on that before you select your tickets, you type in Santiago, you hit enter. It'll apply the discount. You'll see the prices change right on there.
Nice.
And then you pick your seats, whatever you want.
Oh,
from
okay.
there.
That's when you pick your seats.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So I gotta find.
You do the unlock Santiago first before the.
I kind of do want to sit next to your crew too, just so like all of us that are rooting for you are all in like one corner and kind of like it's louder. At
Well, I
that
think
point.
Top Team's got a box, don't they?
They do, but they were selling some tickets, I believe, in the seats, not just in the box as well. You know.
True,
So-
The one that you told me that they're in, there's nothing open in that row, but it's like the next row over or something like that.
I mean, it sounds right.
Stay
Yeah.
close to that.
Yeah, I gave you like 3 sections that I believe most of them are going to be sitting in that area. That's what I'm going to tell people to, if you're coming
Toward that
go in
area.
that area, yeah.
Well, that's what people are like. Are we near where they come in? And looking on the map, I can't really tell.
Where it would be, if I'm walking out, you guys are going to be towards my left. Last time you got a lot of the people sat towards the
I know.
right.
Yeah.
You're going to be towards the left. So it's not exactly, you'll see me walking in from where you're sitting.
Yeah, on the far
but you're
side though.
not-
They're on the far left, kind of from you. No, they're not going to be on your immediate left.
Yeah, it's like
Right?
like that. Yeah, like
Okay.
diagonally
Yep.
left.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. I just want to make sure so I kind of know too, because people ask that, and I'm like, as if it really matters. But
Yeah.
it's a bigger arena. It's not like the conference room,
Yeah,
so
it's
we're not going to
fucking-
be front stage.
But you can all the you can see it from everywhere. I've sat in different places in that
Yeah,
arena,
yeah.
and you can see everything from everywhere.
I don't think
and
I've.
there's screens too, so it's not like it's
Oh, yeah?
hard to see. Yeah,
Yeah, I
don't
was there
know
for
if I've
Justin's
been.
fight. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah?
it was
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
a really good setup for fights, dude.
Good venue.
Because it's so like sloped and open that like there's not a bad seat in the house. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Agreed.
They got like popcorn or whatever, like they did at the last
Full
place. Like,
concession
Same.
stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, same kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can slice of pizza, pretzels, whatever you want.
No, I'm excited. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got a nice crew going. I think like 13 of us.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
wild.
yeah.
We're gonna be going
Not
nuts.
a big crew. Oh yeah, I'll probably suit up. You're gonna dress
oh, yeah,
up.
suit
Oh
and
yeah,
tie.
gotta
Fuck yeah.
suit and
Always
tie.
gotta go
Oh, yeah.
professional.
gotta suit up. You know.
Right, a bunch of them. The top team, New England top team will be there. I believe a lot of the kids I coach from Salem High wrestling are gonna be there. A lot of the guys I coach with are gonna be there as well. So I think it's gonna be a decent crowd. I'm excited for it.
Hell
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We got a community coming to support you.
Yes, sir.
So what in the card do they do it by weight class? Like a certain amount of people in each weight class? How do they even?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how they plan the fights exactly in the order.
How
you
many
know what
fights
I
they
mean?
got though? Is it like 10, 12, 8?
I think it's like 13.
It depends. No, the first card I was on, I believe there was like 16 or 17. The second, I think there was like 20-ish.
Really?
That money.
Yeah, because they do
They're
jujitsu
close
and
to
shit
it.
too. So it's like
Sometimes,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a long card.
I
And
forgot about
kickboxing and stuff like that. Yeah, the first card I was on, there was a couple of jiu-jitsu matches and kickboxing matches. The second one, there was 2 or 3 kickboxing fights. And there is this time as well. I know my teammate, Alex Brown, is having his first kickboxing fight.
Shout out.
Nice.
They normally do the jiu-jitsu and kickboxing before the MMA. I know that bare minimum they do those first, and then it's the amateur MMA fights, and then any pro MMA fights or title fights at the end.
Yep. And where's top team? Where do you train? Is it Manch
New England, no, Salem.
or New England?
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's
right
right
down
in
the
here in
road.
town.
Yeah,
Where?
no.
On Styles Road, you said?
It's close to Styles Road.
Industrial
Oh,
Way,
across from it
yeah.
then. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. All right. I've been back there. My Gianna goes to the daycare that's over there, like right
Okay.
next to Blackwater there.
Yeah, like past Blackwater's right in front of me. I take the
Take
right.
that right, right?
Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of industrial stuff back there.
It's Industrial Drive, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
Well, it's like-
coincidence, the name.
It's like Northeastern Boulevard though, just big industrial, huge, honestly,
Yeah.
huge industrial park.
Yeah, they got like Harvey Shipping back there, and I think there's like a computer chip processing place.
Yeah,
there.
there's a few. There's the fish company too. I forget the Canopy Seafoods.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're back there.
Yeah. It's nice though, because it's nice and secluded. You're like way in the back
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
parking lot, so
You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, but there's just these big friggin' office buildings.
Right.
yeah.
So it's a big place, big
It's not a
setup.
huge place,
No.
but it's decent size. We fill the mats up all the time. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, I can get packed in there.
Yeah, 100%.
I gotta get back. I miss you guys.
It's awesome.
It's been a while.
Why'd you stop?
Because I'm a lazy piece of shit and I've been down in the dumps.
You gotta get out more,
letting
man.
life get in
He's
the
like,
way
I
of
haven't-
life.
Yeah, he's like, I haven't been out and seen people at all. I'm like, that's gotta change.
Yeah, I'm turning into a hermit.
Fighting was probably like that for you anyway. A good
Yeah, it was
chance
the
to
only time I left
socialize
the
with some
house.
friends.
Yeah.
And you got a buddy too that's been doing like some promo stuff for you with like you fighting actually at the.
Oh, he's talking about Randy?
Randy, I believe. So, yeah, Randy Reyes, shout out.
Dude, he makes
got
some
some good
fucking
work.
clean
Oh, my
videos,
God,
yeah.
so
Good work.
Yeah, I got to learn some stuff off of him because he's talented, dude.
And he's
Phenomenal
doing-
editing, phenomenal recording. Like, he takes great pictures, great videos, just on their own. But then once he gets into the booth and starts mixing shit
He gets
up,
the
it's like,
media
oh, wow.
together exactly, and he puts it all together into a nice. That's what I was saying to you. I'm like, this wasn't one like shot. It took like a lot of content to make that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%. He actually has a media pass with Combat Zone.
Nice.
So he's backstage taking videos and pictures. Not just me, but of all the fighters. Backstage, he during the walkouts, during pre and post fight when they're doing the announcements, he's in the cage taking videos and stuff
That's
like that.
sick.
So he's got access
can
to
get
all
that.
that. Exactly. Plus, obviously, he's at the gym, so he's
And he trains there.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So he comes to the gym and takes videos and stuff. All like.
No, it is
you know?
good stuff with what I've seen.
Hell yeah.
Stuff that he
Oh, it's
does.
phenomenal.
Right?
Yeah, he's very, very good.
Yeah. You gonna braid your hair again?
That's the plan.
Yeah. When you getting that done
That's
this
the
week?
plan. No, probably. Hopefully Friday night, the day before the fight.
Isn't it this? So what? We got 2 weeks from this weekend, right? What's today? We're at Sunday, so it's
Yeah,
2 weeks from
26.
yesterday,
2
right?
weeks from yesterday? Yep. So Friday, we weigh in Friday, February 7th at 11 a.m. Hope sometime after that, ideally. Maybe Saturday morning, depends what her availability is, but
Nice.
yeah. Some guys will get it on like Sunday and do their weight cut with it, and I didn't want to risk it getting messed up and shit.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
exactly.
you know
No,
what
it's
I mean?
true
I'd rather get everything done, get it braided, and then I can relax, and you know what I'm saying?
for sure.
I say go full like Quay. I can't speak right now. Go full Clay Guida and just let it bounce in your face.
Right.
I mean, he just retired, so go and honor him.
Right.
True.
True.
Yeah, shout
And
out
it
Clay
helps giving them like a face full of hair too. It's not comfortable for them.
Guida. Exactly. Taste that, motherfucker.
It doesn't get in your way. Fight. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
it
done like
does.
high school fights where it's like my hair is like fucking. Oh my god, you know.
I mean,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to see, you know.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, you want to land those punches. You
No,
know,
it
you gotta be able
definitely
to see.
gets in the way. You know, I'm good with getting through it and dealing with it in training and stuff like that. I have headbands I can put on that help a little bit, but it definitely was very helpful having it braided back and not getting in the way and not having to like, constantly move it and shit
Right.
like that. You know what I mean?
It's like it takes up a space in your head, like where you should be focusing on this. You have to like, this isn't my eye here.
exactly.
You know, it pulls from like you being able to focus
right,
properly.
I'm locked in. It's like, oh shit, I gotta
Exactly.
fix that. You know
Which
what I mean?
can create room for error.
Yeah, and it
You know,
also gives your
exactly,
opponent a
leave an
minute to be
opening.
like, oh shit.
I move my hair out of the way, punch her in the face. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's timing everything. You know what I mean? So even that 0.5 second of moving your hair can fucking change the whole dynamic of the fight.
Exactly.
Half
You
a
know what I
second is
100%.
everything.
And that's just the thing. The energy in the fights, it's like it can change in a second. Like you can be losing, and then, you know, once you get that momentum back on your side, even if you're losing the whole fight, you get the momentum on your side. He can't. If you know what I mean, you could still win that fight.
Yeah.
Like you could just take that momentum and run with it and finish it.
That's what made combat sports so great is that like anything could happen. You can be winning for 14 minutes and 59 seconds, one punch, and you're the loser now.
How
There's
long are
no
the rounds?
shot in basketball that you can just win the game. So
Yeah, no, it's true.
Exactly. And it's an amateur MMA fight, so it'll be 3-3-minute rounds.
3.
Yep.
So you lost on the last fight, right at the tail end of the last round.
Yeah, I believe it was like 20 seconds left.
If you think that went to the scorecard, you think you would have, like, how do you?
No, I think he had enough control time.
Yeah.
That he was gonna get it. I feel like that's why, you know, there was a point where he got mount and it was like all right, I've gotta do something. Let me go all out and try to make something happen. And then he found that opening and got right
Yeah.
in and finished it. You know what I'm saying? If I thought I was gonna win, I probably don't make that opening.
Exactly,
I don't
yeah,
try to like if I could hold on for 20. I would have been able to hold on for 20 seconds, but it's like, oh, if I'm gonna lose anyway, might as well try to win.
Land something
you know?
big.
Exactly,
Yeah,
wear
land
yourself
something
out there,
for
yeah.
land it big.
You know, it didn't work in my favor, but
Yep. Hey, you live and you learn.
Exactly.
You need it, and you gotta, you know, be grateful for the challenges and the things you go through, so that you know what I mean. You become better.
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's
100%.
That's the whole point.
It's kind of a corny saying, but a lot of in wrestling, but fighting too, people say you either win or you learn. There's no losing, you know what I mean? But it's true. As corny as some people may think it is, it's 100% true. You know, you take a loss. I've learned so many things, and I've gotten better at so many things now because of taking that loss. Whereas if I didn't go through that, maybe I'm not as good as I am now because of it. You know
Exactly,
what I'm
100%.
I mean, you go out there and you smoke a dude, and then you go home and you're like, oh, I don't need to work on anything. I'm the fucking king shit around
Yeah, I
here. I'm
can,
gonna knock
yeah.
everybody out. I'm gonna choke everybody out. Sometimes you need a little slap in the face to be like, all right, this is what I got to work on. This is what I got to do, and it keeps that focus. So.
For sure.
Slice of humble pie. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And cliches are cliches like because they're true. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
They're true freaking sayings. They might sound, corny, but, they actually have, some merit.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like they matter. I'm a big cliche guy.
I noticed.
No, but they're good. They're good for you. I mean, there's a lot of things too. Like when you lose, like some people that'll get to their head entirely, where they don't get better. They just constantly start beating themselves up or whatever, looking at it in like kind of like a negative lens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's where wrestling has helped so much because, like I said, at a tournament, you lose once. So guess what?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
wrestling again in 30 minutes, buddy. So you have to get over it and be ready to wrestle.
Yep.
So that's where that's helped. What sucks is that in fighting, you don't get another fight 30 minutes later. You know what I mean?
You almost
Like,
want it because you're used to that. You're
Right.
like, all right, give me another fucking
let me
shit.
go again. Let me go again.
I'm not fucking done.
I
You're
feel like
pulling a Jeff.
Right?
I'm not knocked out yet, motherfuckers.
Like
One more round.
cardio wise, I could have gone a second fight the
Yeah.
last time I fought. You know what I mean?
You're a little beat up in the face a little bit, right? I think I see.
It's a fist fight. Yeah,
exactly.
if you
Oh,
win,
yeah,
you
no, I know.
walk out.
But
Not
the first fight, I don't think you were beat up much,
He didn't land anything. This guy,
right? Not
That's
one.
quick work.
This guy landed some good stuff. He had some good pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, when I create those openings to try to get out, that leaves openings to get punched in the face, to
For
get
sure.
submission, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, it sucks because I wanted to go again. It's like I'll fight again today. I'll fight again next week. Like when can I fight?
I know,
again?
that's-
And
yeah.
Now it's it's a couple months later, 6 months it'll be in between. So nothing too crazy, but it's like I wish it was sooner.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well,
Like,
you didn't have that negative lens where you were like, oh my god, like like maybe that happened to the kid you fought in the first round. Like your first fight, if you lost, I think would have been harder for anyone, right? But it's like, you didn't have that. Oh, like this sucks. Like I don't even know. You didn't doubt yourself. You were
Yeah.
like, I need to get back out there.
Exactly.
I need to train harder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's that grit.
On to the next.
Exactly what it was. You know. It's
You know what I
like,
mean?
It's like I said, I wasn't controlling what I could control. You know what I mean? I was too worried about things I couldn't control, and so it's like I wish I could have not done that. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of things technique wise that I could have done better, and we've worked on a ton. But there's a ton of things just mentally and trying to focus and getting locked in that I know I could have done better. You know what I mean? Like so. There's more things to learn than just the techniques, the X and O's of fighting and shit like that,
And when you were in wrestling, right? You went to New England's. Did you win New Hampshire? Is that how you?
I was a state champion in New Hampshire.
What was your weight class back then?
When I won, I was 152 pounds.
So even bigger. And the
Little
classes are different, right? In wrestling than right?
Yeah.
More of them too, probably like 7 pounds, right? 8 pounds difference.
Yeah, but for the lightweights and the middleweights, they're kind of between like the 5 and 10 pound range. As the weights get higher, the gap is a little bit bigger. Similar in fighting too, but there's more weights in wrestling, I believe, than in MMA.
And that was your senior year?
That was my junior year, actually.
Junior year.
Yeah, I was second as a senior.
Damn, that guy got you.
He got me.
In New Hampshire, you were second. Does that mean you don't go to New England's?
I do. So top 3 in New Hampshire get to go to New England's.
And then when you went to
Yeah,
New England's, you lose to some guy in Connecticut, was it, or Rhode Island or something?
Let's see. I went
In
to
junior?
New England's twice. My junior year, I lost to a kid from Vermont, and I lost to a kid from Rhode Island. And then my senior year, I lost to the returning New England champion from Connecticut, and then another kid from Connecticut as well.
So, did you have like a place in junior year? Or,
No,
like
New
either-
England's I didn't place.
You didn't place?
I didn't
No?
place either year, no.
You didn't win at New England's. Is that why?
I won some matches, but I didn't win. You got to play. I think they go out to top 6 in New England's. I wasn't particularly close.
Is Smitty still there? Smitty still running stuff?
Oh,
over?
yeah.
Yeah. And what was it in Lowell?
Doughboys.
Right. And those are separate from the high schools.
Separate, yeah.
Right.
So that's where, like you said, the off-season wrestling comes in. The high school, during the high school season between November and March, you're at your school. Wherever you go to school, that's where you're wrestling for. That time in between, that's where you go to a Smitty's Barn, a Doughboys. There's a bunch of clubs now. There wasn't as many options
Back then, right? Yeah.
as there is now. But yeah, that's what.
And they're still running it really well. I mean, Smitty's and Doughboys, I feel like were, pretty well spoken of.
Right. I think they're probably still the top ones, but there's some very good ones who can match on any given day. Maybe if you take the best of the best from each place, it could go either way. You know what I'm saying? There is multiple really good high level wrestling gyms all over New England now, which is really cool to see. It means the sport's growing, which I love seeing.
Evolving.
And I mean, it's changed probably even since you've been wrestling a long time. Like, you've probably seen this, just wrestling, that sport alone change.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I spoke with, you remember, like, Josh Dillon and stuff, and, like, him and Welch. And we were talking the other day, and I was like, man, I'm like, I was talking about you. I'm like, I went to Smitty's once, and I threw up the whole time. So, like they literally pushed me so hard that I, like, threw up the entire time. Like, they just kept throwing me around. There was no, like, give. Like, there was no, like... And they were like, yeah, the coaches aren't quite, they don't push as hard anymore. Like, they don't make kids throw up. And, like, because I was probably 14, 13 when I went there with you that time. I'm like, damn, they just tossed me around like a fucking rag doll the whole time. And I'm running back and forth, literally throwing up at the place.
Yeah.
Like, literally. I'm like, yeah, it's not quite as, like, like that anymore.
Yes and no. Like, I think kids change, times change. You maybe can't say and do certain things as time goes along, but a lot of throwing up either comes with you're either out of shape,
which I probably was,
right? Out of shape, or you're working hard, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can be in the best shape ever and still throw up because you push yourself to the absolute limit. You know what I'm saying? So we still have guys who occasionally throw up in practice, and then we can tell which guy it is. All right, this guy, maybe his diet's not the best, and that's why he's throwing up. This guy is all right. He worked his ass off, and that's why he's throwing up. You know what I'm saying? So it depends. Maybe it's not a coach is like putting pressure on and consistently like on it for 2 hours straight to make you do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we're still ramping guys up, getting guys to work hard, trying to
push them,
trying to make them get on that grind and fall in love with the grind, you know what I mean? And sometimes you throw up and that happens. I've thrown up in this training camp, you know what I mean? But
well, you said it's normal.
Exactly. It means I'm working hard. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I am very familiar with the toilet bowl at the New England top team. So it's my best friend over there.
Right.
What made you fight? I mean, you didn't even start getting into training until you were...
Yeah,
and you never wrestled. You never did none of that.
No, I was always, like, interested in it. I love martial arts from, like, a young age. I did Taekwondo when I was, like, 8 or 9 years old for a little while. I don't know. I quit drinking. I needed something to put my energy into when I was, like, 23 years old, and that's what it was.
So how long you been quit off the hooch?
It'll be 8 months in September, so about 7.5
years.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Or what did I say? 8 months? Yeah, 8 years in September.
I'm like, yeah. Longer than months. I ain't seen you in a while.
No, it's been a.
I believe the last time that you did party was here.
One of them, right? And you were here.
And that's
Is that the time you sprained my ankle?
You and me wrestled. I sprained your ankle. And
Why did we do that?
Because this motherfucker was like, "You're gonna let the little cousin beat you? You're gonna let your
he was in my ear. I do remember that. He's in my ear.
He's in your house, and you're gonna let him beat you.
And he's disrespecting you.
I don't recall.
You guys should go outside.
It's fun to watch Avery fuck you up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know what to
Well,
say.
he did it. I remember we did like the first round, and you sprained my ankle like right away. First throw, like. It just like we were foot to foot, and like the way you pulled me, just
you had my leg. I know
ankle.
exactly what it was. You had my leg up in the air, and it was between your legs. And then I took my hand and dropped back to your ankle and pulled all my weight going backwards. And when I did that, your foot like kind of like got caught, and you know what I'm saying?
You're like we were like foot to foot at that point. My foot got like stuck there.
I put my hand and my foot right behind your leg, and your whole body kept going, but your foot kind of.
So then I remember landing, and I'm like. I'm like, we got to give it a second. I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, all right, let's go again. And we went.
Yep.
And then, dude, I'm like, we were drunk. So we're like sitting on my couch after that. I'm like, got the recliner up. I'm like, I got ice on my ankles like this fucking big.
Yep.
Remember, I'm like, damn, if I have a picture and it's like, yo, thanks, little cousin. It's this fucking big old swollen asparagus trunk.
It's a badge of honor, bro.
Thank Donnie for that.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah, right.
And I wish I could blame the alcohol on the instigating, but I think I might have already been sober at that point.
That's really, yeah.
I think
You're
I
still
was just
coming
being an
out.
asshole, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back when I was fucking chugging Red Bulls and shotgunning them with you guys.
You get 7 years, you said?
Yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, because that was probably this summer would be around like 7 years.
Yeah.
So you might have been like 6 months, like your first year.
Yeah, it would have been.
Because like that was like around Yanks and all that. Those days.
Oh yeah.
Those
I
fucking
remember
nutty
those
days where we just go freaking ham sandwich in this place.
Ham sandwich, good.
Yo.
Yeah.
You were wearing the Conor McGregor crew neck sweatshirt.
Oh,
Had his
yeah.
tat like a
I remember
gorilla.
Still got that thing?
No, no, I tossed that. I saw
Yeah.
myself in a picture with that thing on. I was like, oh yeah, that's goofy. I get it. Whatever.
Yeah. And then I remember too, you'd lost a lot of weight somewhat recently,
Yeah,
right?
I put some of it back on, but
Yeah.
yeah, I lost like 100 pounds about a year.
That
and a half
much?
Ago.
I remember,
Yeah.
like, because I
was
haven't seen you in
275, dude.
years.
Yeah, I was
275?
Yeah,
That's
it's
big
crazy.
boy.
I'm
And
like
you were fighting at that,
215 now.
or whatever, training?
I was training. I've never fought myself.
Well,
no.
yeah, we were training
But,
at that and whatever, going to the
yeah.
gym and sparring and doing all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
a big boy.
Yeah, I got lazy. I put some of it back on.
Well, but you got down. Now, what got you down? Was it training? Was it
Yeah,
diet?
I mean, I just switched. I started eating nothing but turkey and fucking rice every single day.
Meal prepping.
Yeah.
Meal prepping a ton.
And I mean, like,
It's a lot of weight, 100
I
pounds.
definitely didn't do it the healthiest way. Like, I was like eating like 1,500 calories a day for like months, and like I was getting to the point of being like dizzy and shit. But I got down to 170 pounds, so that was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
It was very brief, but I was there.
You over 200 now?
I'm probably about 205, 210.
But you feel healthier than you did at 275.
I got to get back to the diet. I've let myself go again. So
You
it's
felt
hard,
healthiest
dude.
at 170?
I was
you just
probably
said you
best
didn't-
around like 185.
Yeah.
185 was like good. So, and I could go further than that, but I'd have to be smart about it. I was trying to just pull it all off as fast as I possibly could. So,
And that's the issue with like, not that you were cutting weight, but some guys who do cut weight, they will undereat or starve themselves,
Right.
And then they have no energy and can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flow Wrestling posted a video. College wrestler Johnny DeJulius, he mentioned, don't be afraid to work out. You know what I mean? Eat extra and get an extra workout in if you want to lose weight. You know what I mean? Don't starve yourself. Then you're gonna feel like shit. You're gonna compete like shit. You're gonna, you're not gonna do what you're able to do because you're not supplying your body with what it needs.
Yeah,
you know
facts.
What I mean?
I mean, Joe Rogan advocates a lot for the UFC to no longer do weight cutting or whatever. Like he does, or like force them to not do that.
it's easier said than done.
Well, yeah, but he thinks that it's a really it creates an unhealthy pattern for a lot
Oh,
of
for
guys.
sure. Yeah, you're draining your
Right?
fluids out of your brain
Right?
before you get
Yeah.
punched
Not
in the
enough water,
face.
not enough this, not enough that.
Exactly.
Eating like for however. Well, I mean, when does it really come down to you really like a week, 2 weeks, being to make that weight at that day?
Yeah. So
How long does it take? 2 weeks of.
like I'm dieting now. You know, and I've been dieting
Yeah.
ever since. When I find out I'm fighting, all right, we're immediately gotta change.
So it's
Take
not
out
that
any
drastic.
extras, you know
Yeah,
what I
you don't
mean?
want it to be a drastic change in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's not super drastic. I'll really lock in and start cutting a lot of the water weight probably the week of that, or even maybe a couple days out. Before that it's just dieting, exercising a ton, shit like that, but still fueling my body, being able to go through.
So it's really the
day to
diet
day.
that's the most important part for
Oh
you.
yeah, 100%.
You've noticed.
You need to you need to lose the weight, but you need to be able to compete and do your best and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Still be
saying?
strong in
Well,
there.
Exactly.
Joe Rogan says that like guys would be a lot healthier fighting if they didn't have to cut weight.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Agreed, 100%. Again, easier.
It is
said
easier,
than
yeah,
done.
yeah.
There is no. I don't really see a way. Right now, how they would
They
be
would-
able
yeah.
to do that. You know what I mean? But
and it's always been a thing. Is it like since the boxing days, the old boxing
always,
day? It's
yeah,
always been a
boxing,
thing, right?
Wrestling, MMA from the beginning. Like it's a lot of any weight dependent combat sport. There's people cutting a ton of weight.
Yeah, looking for an advantage, Like,
Yep.
if you walk in there 15 pounds heavier than the guy you're fighting, that's 15 pounds of mass you got to move around that they don't. So,
Yep.
you can try to water test people and hydrate test people, but, like, there's ways to bend rules, and one guy's going to figure it out, maybe the other guy doesn't. So, it's, like I said, it's harder than it's easier to say or whatever to
Yeah,
do.
easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I really only know of fighting much because I watch Joe Rogan a lot, so I kind of keep somewhat up to date, but not obviously as much as you guys or whatever.
No.
There's a lot of people in that same boat with this. Yeah,
I like it. I like watching it. I
comments.
just don't follow it. When I played the video game, I knew the most. That was the glory days of Forrest Griffin, the end days of Chuck Liddell, George St. Pierre when he was like prime time.
The GOAT.
Oh yeah.
Those days, I feel like everyone was a big name. Rashad was it Evans, right?
Yeah, Rashad Evans.
Was Jackson? What was the other guy?
Rampage.
Rampage,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of guys. Well, that's when Brock Lesnar also kind of made that jump.
Oh yeah.
And he was just a
Superstar.
he was an animal in the fucking heavyweight. Now in heavyweight, you don't have to cut weight. You can fight at 285 if you want.
No, you do. So in MMA, it's 265. And Brock Lesnar weighs like 320 pounds. So he was actually had to cut a lot of weight. But being that massive, it's a lot easier for him to lose a ton of weight. I can't lose 60 pounds, 40 pounds.
Yeah,
whatever
it's not possible.
I couldn't do that, but he has so much mass on him that he's able to do it.
He looked like
you know?
fucking Joaquin Phoenix in
Oh, yeah.
fucking the gym.
But that's how massive. I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, he is a big dude.
Well, that's like at a bigger guy can cut way more weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, I was gonna say that's how it shows how massive he is. The fact that he had to cut weight to make heavyweight.
60
that's
pounds.
There's some the current heavyweight champion John Jones weighed in at like 230 for
Yeah, I
his
think
last
it's around
fight, something like that, and that's just 230. That's 30
He's a
pounds
big boy.
under the weight limit. He is a big boy.
He's a big boy.
But Brock Lesnar has to, you know what I mean? That's a lot of weight to cut. He's a massive motherfucker.
Yeah.
I feel like there was another guy that was also big in the
Francis.
in that time period. That was a heavyweight.
Oh, in that time period, Alistair Overeem. Fuck yeah.
That is there any guy that kind of gave Brock Lesnar a run for his money in that time period?
Alistair
Cain-
Overeem, buddy.
What's his
Cain
name?
Velasquez was probably
Cain
the guy.
Velasquez,
you're talking about.
okay.
He was smaller though, didn't he weigh at like 240 tops?
Yeah, he wasn't super big, but he's the guy who took the title from Brock Lesnar and was kind of the guy for around that time period.
Anderson Silva, what happened to him too?
He's a
Lost
bit
to Jake
lower in
Paul.
weight, but
Oh no, I know. And he just never fought again. You haven't seen that name.
He's older now. He's like 50. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, that was
No,
only
he was
like
the champ. He set the record for most title defenses.
Yeah, wasn't
he
it like
won
17?
middleweight too, right?
at middleweight. Yeah,
Yeah.
185. I want to say like 11 or 12.
Was it?
Maybe his fight streak was 17, but I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
title defenses was only like 11 or 12.
yeah, I think I'm counting Strike Force or something like that along with that.
Were those
But-
early days of Muay Thai coming into play? Because this country had never really seen Muay Thai before that.
I think it's
Right.
where Anderson kind of, when he came into the UFC, a lot of clinch work, a lot of heavy knees, you know what I mean?
Flying fucking knees.
Oh, yeah. he was getting shit that a lot of people didn't see in that
Foot
kind
in the
of...
face, a front foot.
Oh, yeah.
People
Stepping
don't
right
know
up.
that. People never did that shit.
No. Right.
Imagine being a boxer getting a fucking heel to the face, looking
Exactly.
at someone.
Was
Or-
that your feet?
Or
Yeah.
getting clinched up and then getting kneed in the face.
Yeah.
You know, in boxing, you get clinched up, the ref breaks you up. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You clinch up in MMA, you're going to get a knee, a punch, something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
deadly.
Right? And then, so then you have these other things like fucking karate and taekwondo are those real?
Some people make them work, but you got to know boxing and wrestling in order to make them work. You
Yeah.
can't just go in there as a taekwondo guy.
What is
Yeah.
what's the difference between the two anyway in karate why is
So-
Muay Thai such a big thing compared an actual fighting thing compared to karate where no one would be like, "Oh, I know karate." Maybe back when we were kids, but
There's different versions of karate, like Kyokushin, that's more full contact. But the main problem is that it's more of a point fighting system. So if you're allowed to knock somebody out, which you can't really do in taekwondo, you'll get disqualified. It changes the game a little bit. Instead of just trying to tap you as fast as I can, you're taking real damage. So that's where
okay, so it's a different type of skill set, right?
That
There's
actually
different
happened
goals.
at the Olympics this year, or last year, whenever it was. I don't know if it was karate or taekwondo or some striking sport, and a guy knocked his opponent out, and he got disqualified in the semifinals. So the guy who got knocked out cold got to go fight for a gold medal.
He won
in
the fight?
Olympics. He won the fight, yeah, and the loser had to go fight for a bronze medal. You know what I'm saying? So that's things like that. It's like, what the hell? What are
Yeah.
you doing? You know what I mean? That's. Let me not judge. That's what the sport is. And that's,
Right, that's just it. It's a different
is
type
what
of
it is,
sport.
you know what I'm saying? I see, but because of that, I see why it's not spectator friendly, and people may not want to see that. You know what I'm
Olympic
saying?
wrestling, right? It's also point based. Wrestling itself is
That's
point
a difference.
based.
Well, it's point,
Yeah.
but like you said, in wrestling, I can still pin you. You know what I'm saying? A pin in wrestling is like the knockout or like a submission or something.
Right,
like
yeah,
that. I could
exactly.
be down big and I can pin you, but if you're down 10 points in point karate, there's no knockout to save you. You know?
Yeah,
what
there's
I
no
mean?
big point. There's no grand slam.
Exactly. There's no one big thing that can finish it, and that's like, again, not spectator friendly because then it's like, you kind of know what's going to happen. If I'm up 10 points, like, all right, well, I'm most likely going to win. Even if he does knock me out, I'm going to win because they're going to get disqualified. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and to be clear, too, like, not to degrade traditional martial arts, because those things do have their benefits. Like,
yeah, for sure.
if you're able to get a kick to somebody's face faster than they can see, that's awesome. You just also have to know a little bit about boxing and wrestling so you can make those things work in the cage. Those things do have a benefit to them, but you have to put it all together like a puzzle.
Well, they still clearly they work because the guy knocked him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just a matter of it sucks as a spectator being like, wow, he got a knockout and he lost. Like,
Yeah.
what the
Right.
fuck is that? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So the skills are still useful regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's just the rule set that version of whatever, whether it was Taekwondo or karate, I can't remember exactly the fight, but again, people aren't gonna want to see that. People want to see knockouts, you know.
for sure.
And even as
Just
a wrestler,
bleed!
like they want to see knockouts. They want to see submissions, mainly knockouts, though. You know what I'm saying? And so, in a striking sport, like, no, you can't knock somebody out. It's like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah. Especially nowadays, right?
Oh yeah.
Right? Like where UFC in the past 15, 20 years has just become, you know,
Mainstream.
it
almost.
became it put boxing nearly out of business. Like,
Yeah.
Well, the most views that the Taekwondo got for the Olympics was probably that knockout. You know what I mean? And it was a guy who lost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people want to see the knockouts. They want to see those highlights, especially on TikTok, the Instagram, videos, shit like that. The short form media, they wanna see the quick things. They don't wanna see you go for 20 minutes and point a decision there. You
How
know
about
what
Kung
I mean?
Fu? Iron Fist.
Kevin Holland would say that it works, but
Is it a thing? Is it real? Bruce Lee was that? Was that
like
Bruce
I said,
Lee?
Kevin Hall. No, Bruce Lee was Jeet Kune Do, right?
I don't know.
100%.
I believe so. It was like his style that he invented. That was like an
okay.
amalgamation.
Well, like Chuck
of-
Norris. These were real fighters,
Yeah.
right?
Chuck Norris. I think he came from Kyokushin karate, but he competed
More
in full
karate.
contact
And they're
kickboxing.
movies too, so they're non-arguing motherfuckers.
Well,
out.
Chuck Norris legit was a kickboxer with legitimate full contact knockout wins. Like he actually could fight. He wasn't
Yeah.
just a point
Well,
fighter.
Steven Seagal, that guy too, though. They say
He taught Anderson Silva the kick that won him a fucking fight against Vitor Belfort, apparently.
But like, yeah, that's what I mean. There's so many like, especially in Asia, these little like karate, taekwondo, fucking judo. Was judo Brazilian? No, that's jiu-jitsu. That's
Japan.
It is, so that's Asian
Japanese,
too.
yeah.
And that's like body toss, right?
A lot of
like
upper
wrestling
body.
with submission, pretty much.
Yeah, and there's a lot of throws, but there are submissions. You're wearing a gi as well, so the
So
same.
it's jiu-jitsu feel kind of, but more wrestling.
It's it's hard to explain. I'm not a 100% expert on judo. It's stereotypical judo is upper body throws. You get in throws, stuff like that, and that's what a lot of judokas do. But there are submissions, a lot of arm bars, you know. Girls like Ronda Rousey and Kayla Harrison, who were Olympic medalists in judo, they get into MMA, and they're coming in, they're going for throws and immediately arm barring right off of that because they did that
That's what they know.
a million times growing up. You know
It's
what
the bread
I mean?
and butter.
Exactly.
Yep. I mean, then that's considered a ground game, right?
Oh yeah, it's a grappling.
It's a ground
100%.
game,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you can't punch. There's no punching in
Right,
judo.
nothing.
It's all you're wearing a gi, so you're able to grab the gi and pull and stuff like that. You can use your legs to trip and all that stuff. But there's no punch. I can't punch you. I can't knee you.
So wow. Would they offer that at yours, like the Combat Zone?
I don't
Or like,
think they've
right?
done judo
New England
match.
top
I
team,
think
right? Like even training, they don't
well,
offer that. Really.
we take judo techniques. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, well, if it's a certain throw we want to work on, or a throw transition to a submission, well, definitely my coach will coach it. You know what I mean? But there's not a set day. Like everyone get your judo gis on, and we're gonna do just judo practice today, you know. But there's definitely technique. Even in wrestling, there's a bunch of learned a bunch of judo over the years from judo guys who've also wrestled. So then they come in and here's how you do it without a gi. Here's how you do it with wrestling shoes on rather than barefoot. Things like that. You know what I mean?
And then like, so what's a dojo then?
That's more of a traditional martial arts term, but it's just like the gym that you
Place,
train
like a
in.
gym of training.
It's like,
It doesn't
hey,
have to
I'm
be
going
judo.
Hey, I'm going to the gym. It's hey, I'm going to the dojo. It's the synonyms basically.
More like Asian influenced, right? Though dojo, you think you'd lean
maybe,
more toward like jujitsu. You'd think like if someone said that to me, I would think jujitsu or like rolling. You'd think that. You wouldn't think it's like a striking place or like a MMA. I don't know.
I
Maybe
would
I'm
say
wrong.
martial. A lot of places. I've noticed a lot of if they wear gis, sometimes they call their place a dojo. Like I've heard judo places be called dojos. I've heard jiu-jitsu places called dojos. Karate, which is striking, not grappling, but they call it dojos as well. Never heard a wrestling gym called a dojo.
Right.
Never heard a boxing gym called a dojo or a kickboxing gym. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I'm not sure exactly where the origin is, but it's more like the traditional martial arts where you're wearing a gi or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Weekends sucks.
How many nights you training really?
Every day.
Every day, huh?
Every day. Some days 2-a-days. Most days 2-a-days. You know, because I'm coaching high school wrestling, so with this fight camp, I'm getting in and practicing with the guys. I've had a set training partner, John Vargas. Shout out, homie. I've been putting him through hell. He's got to work hard. I'm forcing him to work hard. But I'm in there training wrestling every single day, and then I'm going right to top team. What are we doing for the day? How are we going to do this, do that? You know what I mean? And
after work, after work, you work all day.
After work, I'm going right to wrestling practice, and after wrestling practice, I'm going right to top team. You know,
busy.
Oh yeah,
it's no joke, brother. Gotta take it serious.
Well, and two, fighting's one of those. I mean, you're paying to fight. You're not out here making money yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean, the goal would be
Code Santiago. Right? Give me some money, exactly. I need it.
Yeah.
Help a brother out.
Yeah. So even if it was a little bit, please.
Right. We'll take anything. But
not making money yet. The goal is one day.
Well, it's one of those sports where you have to invest in yourself and financially into it.
Exactly.
It's not like a freaking free sport.
No. Oh, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Pay to go to the gym. You gotta pay for certain tests, medical tests. You gotta get done
for
the fight, stuff like that. You gotta pay for gear and stuff. You know what I mean?
It adds up fast.
It does add up very fast. And there's been times where it's like, man, do I want to spend this money on whatever this particular thing is? And then I always try to tell myself I'm gonna bet on myself. I'm gonna bet on me. Money will find its way back to me. Can
always make more.
This may put me with fucking $0 right now, but I can progress and get better in one way, and I'll make money. I'll figure out how to make money another way.
That's like a great outlook on life, though, too. Like not only with just money, with fighting, whatever it is, like putting the money on yourself, betting on yourself, and just having faith in the process and your future and you. You know, having faith, giving yourself some grace while you do it. You know, and being hopeful, like you can run your bank account zero. You know you're going to be like you know that, you know what I mean? You have a sense of priority.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Seriously. I mean, like I said, it's not just so many things. You know, so many people nowadays live like, you know, in fear or whatever and all these things. And it's like, you know, if you can run your bank account, you know, because you can, you know, push it to the edge and you always end up back. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Everything ends up okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, right?
Find a way.
You find a way.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes, you know, when you're put in a corner, you perform the best.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? When you push yourself way outside your comfort zone, you're like, all right, I'm fucking nervous. I might not have fucking whatever it is. I might not have the money, but this is what I'm doing for it. This is why I'm spending all my money. Mm-hmm. And then you put yourself in that corner, you fucking perform the best.
Fuck yeah.
Or you learn the most.
You got something to fight for. You know?
Pressure makes diamonds.
Damn right.
I've never heard that. That's good. I like that.
Never heard that?
I'm stealing that.
Sure.
I'm putting that in the docket. Right in the fucking notes.
You should copyright it.
Trademark.
Go for it.
Trademark that shit. All the cliches.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's get all the cliches. But you got anything going on the rest of the day?
No, I'm just hanging out. It's Sunday, so.
It's your easy
chilling.
day?
Yeah. Had 2 practices today.
Yeah, but no work.
Had a double today. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So I'm able to chill out.
For the afternoon.
Yeah, and then back on the grind. Keep it going.
We got Spider-Man dropping.
Spider-Man dropping? What are you talking about?
Like the animated series.
What's it called again? Friendly Neighborhood
Friendly,
Spider-Man. They're calling it on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about it.
I think
Spider class. I thought high school class or something. I thought it was something to do with school, but I could be wrong.
No, I think it's called like the Friendly.
You sent it to me today recently, right?
Amazing, something like that. It's an animated show at Disney Plus. Looks good.
It's gonna be sick. Did you watch What If or any of the other like
I haven't
97?
Of course, I watched
That's
97. But
it was so good.
Is it a continuation of the '90s Spider-Man like they did with that?
No,
right?
That's too bad because I loved that show.
Oh my god,
it was known.
That is the Spider-Man show.
without a
doubt. It is. Oh yeah,
hands down the best. Probably the best version of Spider-Man overall. If I had to pick a Spider-Man, that's probably it for me. Like
they did the clone
theme
saga
song
and
for the
everything.
song was phenomenal.
It is your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
It is a Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yep.
Well, that's pretty sick.
That'll be sick. And they're doing multiple episode drops, so it'll be like 2 episodes. And
oh yeah.
Did you watch Agatha? Any of that stuff? You've been keeping up?
I tried to watch Agatha. Honestly, dude,
like
the MCU is losing me pretty quickly.
Who was?
The MCU is losing me.
This
This
guy.
guy.
I still
This
watch it,
fucking
but it's
guy.
just hard, dude. Honestly, I'm
We got
more.
Downey Jr. coming back.
I know, I'll watch that for sure. Honestly, I'm more stoked for Superman.
It's like
I
we-
never thought I'd be pumped for a DC movie, but it looks pretty fucking sick.
When's this? I haven't even.
coming out this
I
year.
never lost hope on DC. I want you to know
Really?
that. Shout out to Batman. He's
Shout
my
out to
fucking
Batman.
guy.
I like
Yeah.
Batman and Superman and Flash. Those three are my DC fucking legends.
The Flash movie sucked, but
I liked it.
Peacemaker brought me right in.
Peacemaker was
oh
sick
my-
as
John
fuck.
Cena is the funniest motherfucker.
Hell yeah, dude.
He is so fucking funny, and I've known this forever. I'm a huge WWE fan, but seeing him do it outside of WWE is so cool, especially in Suicide Squad and then Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Peacemaker
Absolutely
was like
fucking
so
hilarious.
unique.
Yeah,
Like, I've
yeah.
never seen
Kicking ass,
anything
dude.
like that.
They just wrapped filming season 2, so that'll be out soon too.
Yep.
So
And that's on
pumped
HBO
that.
too. Well, so did you watch Penguin at all?
I still haven't. That's
still haven't?
one thing I just haven't gotten around
Everyone's been
to,
saying
and
it's
I-
good. I like Colin Farrell.
Oh,
I'm
phenomenal!
excited to
Yeah,
watch
he was
it.
amazing in the Batman. I don't know why I haven't. It's that I haven't just put it on. Honestly, I'm gonna go home today and maybe watch.
You know what?
it.
I'm gonna go home and do them right now.
Yeah.
I don't have HBO, so it's like tough.
I'll give you my login. I don't give a shit.
Oh, all right.
Everyone else in the
Now
world's
we're- now we're
fucking
cooking.
already, so
Now we're cooking.
yeah, one more TV screen ain't gonna hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
I rewatched the Spider-Man, like the Into the Spider-Verses recently.
Oh,
I'm like,
nice.
oh my god! And then I was reading about how
So
like
good.
Beyond the Spider-Verse is gonna take like till 2028. Like it was
Yeah, it's delayed.
supposed to originally be like a year or two after, but
It was
writer
supposed to be
strikes
one
and all
movie.
this shit.
Right.
It wasn't even supposed to be a two-parter at first. That was
What,
something
across
that happened.
across
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Well, I heard too. Like I was reading that like some of those animators and like the people who worked on Across the Spider-Verse were worked like wicked hard, like grinding, and that was during the right before the writer's strike. So it could have just happened where like that was starting to build the writer's strike and people getting pissed, and they were like, all right, we need to get this out. I mean, they didn't cut any corners with it. Across
No,
the Spider-Verse
definitely
could be my favorite fucking Marvel movie.
It's great. I just feel
Like,
like
it
the
could
ending
be-
came out of nowhere.
It could be fucking my favorite.
Yeah.
I've always loved, like, I understand why, like, the MCU right now is having, people don't like it or having issues with it, but I've always liked the idea of multiverse stuff. I've
Me
always
too,
thought that was
100%.
really cool. So that's why Spider-Verse I love, because it's every version of Spider-Man
Yeah.
in the movies, you know, it's super cool. And the story's really great in it, too, you know what I
The
mean?
stories. I'm not even a big Miles guy. Like I know Miles. I'm familiar with the character. You know, I obviously would always lean toward Peter Parker first, but that movie is just really well done.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the story is just so, like, and even with like Spider-Gwen or whatever, Ghost Spider, like the way they pull it all in, and like the first one was really great, but like
Yeah,
the second
John
one, I'm
Mulaney
like
as
like
Spider-Man.
2099, I'm like, oh my god.
Right? Well, I love
Damn.
that each Spider-Man has a different fucking animation style. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like
Their
that.
own
It's-
world is like that.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's never
crazy.
there's never a point where they change animation styles. You know what I mean? So all these different Spider people are coming together. They still look the exact same. as they
Spider
did
Punk's
when they were-
glowing.
Exactly.
Gwen's universe has like a lot of pink, purple, like dark blue, like
Yep.
you know, like that feel. Then you get like, you know, the standard, which is like Miles, but then you get like Scarlet Spider too had his own like
Yep.
Or
look to
Spider-Punk.
him. Spider-Punk, it was glowing. They had like even like the Vulture that had his like the paper mache look.
That
Yep.
was sick.
That was
Yep.
so sick.
That was really
They're
cool.
bringing different animation into like its own a universe that doesn't have that animation.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It's pretty
And
cool.
the soundtrack was fucking off the charts. Each character was off the charts. I thought they did a really good job with Oscar Isaac in 2099. Like,
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I was into it.
Agreed.
it's an exciting movie. I'm like, oh my god! And the cliffhanger. I don't know if there's a bigger cliffhanger.
I was not ready for it. 'Cause I went in there thinking that this was just gonna be like a one and
The
done
end,
sequel
yeah,
that like
yep.
Yeah.
story wraps up. And then all of a sudden we're like 2 hours in, and I'm like, there's like a lot that has to happen right now. And then all of a
Right.
sudden it's just fucking credits roll, and I'm like, oh,
Right?
all right.
Gwen
dude,
goes and
that's
gets
why.
the team, and then like fucking it ends.
Yeah,
You're like,
right.
dude, right at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, I think we went to theaters to see that.
Oh yeah.
That's a fucking sick one, man. Like I don't think I've seen it since theaters. That's why. So I'm like, I forgot
Yeah,
how
I'm
good
not
it
sure if
was.
I have either. Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's fucking good shit.
It's a good one.
Like
I think it's
mean,
on Netflix, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I don't know if Into the Spider-Verse is still, but you know, Endgame had a lot of build up, a lot of hype. Without any build up, like as an independent story, like you know, you can say, yeah, I love like you know, whatever it is. I like the Iron Man movies. He's my favorite. Whatever, like Spider-Man, just being those two movies, it's like tough to beat those two.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking like the Thor trilogy, even you guys got 4 now. They were kind of like one of my least favorite ones. Ant-Man's fun, but like Iron Man, Captain America, those two trilogies, Spider-Man trilogy. Fucking sick.
Yeah.
Right? Those are my 3 that I would lean to like independently
For
without
me, it's
watching
Captain
the whole
America.
MCU.
I could go back and watch all 3 Captain America movies.
I'm more of an Iron Man
anytime.
guy, but his trilogy is better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I like the Captain America movies a ton.
the Winter Soldier one and the fucking Civil War is like top MCU fucking for
yeah.
me. Just because they have the fucking when they all fight and when like they introduce Black Panther, they introduce so many in that one movie.
Right.
Like
Basically
Black
an Avengers movie.
Right.
Avengers,
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a team up.
2.5, whatever it was.
Yeah, pretty much, right? I think Brave New World will be good.
I think it'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna go right after this fight, right?
Hell yeah.
Like the week after,
Yep.
right?
I'm excited for it. Red Hulk's gonna be there. You know?
Harrison Ford, that'll be fun, and yeah, I'm sure there'll be other story tie-ins too.
Daredevil Born Again looks sick. You see the trailers?
I cannot fucking wait for that shit.
Yeah.
I'm a wicked big like Charlie Cox, like his Daredevils.
I loved the Daredevil and Punisher series. They were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Those are the two better ones out of the whole Defenders series.
But I'm excited for it too. What's the guy who plays Daredevil again? What's
Charlie
his name?
Cox.
Charlie Cox. Yeah. He came out and said they started filming, and then they started all over again because they didn't like the way it was like going. So they shot a whole new pilot and kind of went on from there. You know what I'm
Really?
saying?
I didn't know that.
So I like that because they were like, all right, this isn't working. Let's do it over
I
again.
think they
and figure
needed to
out the
do
way
that.
to make it work.
Like
you
you
know
were
what I'm
saying with She-Hulk, they forced shit or like not rushed it, but like I liked She-Hulk, but like you were telling me too, like it was right in the middle of shit, and it was like they kind of started moving episodes.
They
like,
changed episodes around, so storylines didn't flow the way they were supposed to.
They spent a lot of money on it, so they were like, we can't scrap it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We need to do
exactly.
something with this.
Exactly.
Like, so like you said, if you scrap it, you're gonna get. That's what they're doing with Beyond the Spider-Verse too. Like they've just been scrapping it because they're like, you should don't cut corners and. These are fucking epic movies.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I mean?
why I'm really
Take your time.
excited for DC coming up because James Gunn has said we're not starting the development of any fucking movie until a script is done. Where Marvel, they're writing the script sometimes the same day as
know.
filming starts,
Drinking their
you know what
coffee,
I mean?
fucking scribbling down notes.
Exactly.
Like-
So it means they're going to have a set story. They know what the plan's going to be before anything even starts. And I'm sure there's probably still going to be changes as filming goes on. Shit's going to happen.
Yeah, there's
People are
always
gonna-
reshoots.
They're going to ad-lib, reshoot,
Yeah.
shit like that. You know what I mean? But having the base of what you're going to do already before you start any sort of production, I think is going to be phenomenal. That's why I'm really excited for Superman.
Superman is James Gunn.
Yeah.
James Gunn.
I
He's
think you
directing
did
it.
tell me, right?
So he is directing that directly. But he is essentially like the Kevin Feige of DC, now.
So he owns the rights
He
mostly.
I mean, he doesn't
doesn't
own
own
it,
it, but he's in like creative control of what's
Yep,
going
yep.
on. Is kind of is like the puppet master between everything, So
Perfect, 'cause he's-
directors are gonna have to go to James Gunn to get approval on shit,
Yeah.
and writers
Yeah,
are
yeah.
gonna have to go to him to get approval on shit, and he's gonna have to write off on anything before it gets made.
So,
you know what I mean?
is there news on when the Superman's coming out?
July, I believe.
Oh, so it's
It
already
might even
written
be
and done. I
soon.
thought you
it's-
meant like.
they have trailers out
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Oh, they
And
do?
the trailer
Who's
looks fucking
Superman?
sick.
James Cornsweet, I believe his
Yeah,
name is.
that's his name. I never heard
Looks
of him before
good.
this stuff.
I didn't know. And
The trailer looks good.
looks
Dude,
good.
it does, yeah.
And what's cool, they're not doing origin stories. Like in the trailer alone, there was like 2 or 3 Green Lanterns. I think Hawk Girl was in it.
Damn.
Nathan
That's I
Fillion.
love that when there's a lot of people.
Crypto, the fucking
Yeah.
super dogs in it.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
in the
really?
trailer. Yeah,
Dude, it's sick.
Like
Fuck
That's sick.
There is that. I'm excited to see how he goes. That like it's a. Here's
like
the
team-up
story.
movies
We don't.
like
We
that.
don't need the origin. We don't need a fucking
Yeah.
another.
Everyone
origin.
knows who
We
Superman
know.
is.
We know who
Right.
he is. We know how he came to be. We've seen it 3 or 4 times.
Another him of
already.
fighting, Lex Luthor. Like I like the team ups when they all go after some big
Yeah.
shit, rather than like the same
Buckle up,
fighting
kid.
Lex Luthor, the same fucking. I'm gonna fight,
Right.
the same guys over and over. Can't redo that movie over and over.
What I like about it too is like in the MCU, an issue is sometimes is like you watch an Iron Man movie or any movie, something happens. It's like, where's everybody else? Like, why
Yeah,
is nobody
exactly.
else coming to fucking help? Why is nobody else here? From the trailer, it seems to be he's in a world that has superheroes and are there regardless whether fucking
Exactly,
they're
yeah.
from Metropolis or not. You know what I'm saying?
That's sick.
So that's again, it's only the trailers, but
Yeah.
still, I'm excited to fucking see that.
Oh yeah, we'll go do that too.
Hell yeah.
I love that shit. I like
Go.
Superman and Batman are like top tier, and Spider-Man. Like growing up, it was them 3 for me.
Yeah.
And really less Superman. It was more like Spider-Man, Batman, boom.
Yeah, those are
You
my
gotta.
top two.
Everyone's one of the 3. Like
Yep.
you gotta.
Right?
You know.
Superman just got the best powers.
Yeah.
Well, he's the like original superhero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Classic.
He's the biggest probably up until the 90s, and that's probably when Batman took over. You know what
Yeah,
I
oh
mean?
yeah,
Once
with
once the
Tim
movies
Burton and
started
shit.
coming out, yeah. I think that Batman really took over there. The animated series too, and Superman was still making movies and shows around that time too. But
Lois and Clark.
you
And
know,
fucking-
in the comics around then too, a lot of Batman stories were getting really good in the 80s.
Well,
and the
Frank
90s,
Miller, right,
you know?
took
Frank
over,
Miller,
right? Well, he
but-
did Daredevil. I don't know if he did Spider-Man, but I know he did like the Ninja Turtles. He did Batman, Dark fucking.
Yeah, well, he did the
Shit.
Dark Knight Returns. I think
Yeah.
he may have done the Killing Joke as well.
I think he did.
And
Yeah,
that was in the 80s, 90s. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
So
exactly.
So the comic book readers are starting to go towards that way, and the casuals with just the movies. You know, 1989 Batman was fucking one of the biggest movie hits that year, in a couple of years, give or take. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. That was a groundbreaking.
100%.
But then, like, I sent the reels, and it's like freaking about Toby's freaking. He's like, Sam Raimi invented superhero movies. He's like, we had to remove the Twin Towers out of the cover.
I sent you that.
Yeah, it was you. I'm like, that guy's so funny. I just seen one of him doing Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, what the fuck do you know about Amanda Bynes? He's like, we had our own SNL.
They did?
Yeah. I know, we grew up in a crazy. He's like, what the fuck you know about slime? And he's talking in slow motion. That shit's so funny. That guy's hilarious. I think that's the Brickle Brackle guy.
It is the Brickle Brackle guy, yep.
It's nothing like my mother's Brickle Brackle and beans. Have you seen that shit?
No.
This is a ridiculous
the
fucking
Spider-Man
guy.
caption was like, point of view, you say you're watching Spider-Man next to your millennial uncle or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
he's the
And he's
millennial
like, you're talking
uncle."
about Tobey Maguire, right?
True. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, he kissed her upside down.
Iconic.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
that was like the best kiss I'd ever seen. When I saw that in theaters, my whole life changed.
Every 13-year-old boy pressed
I was
pause on that
Spider-Man,
scene.
yeah.
There's
Whoa.
Well, like the whole movie, I was Spider-Man probably for like 4 years at Halloween after that movie.
Oh,
came
yeah,
out. You know,
facts.
every year.
Me too.
For real.
Couldn't breathe with the mask on, sweating under there and shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, we all had it.
Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this up? Put a knot in it. Put a bow on it. Any other shout-outs? Anything? We know where to get the tickets. Ticketmaster, right?
Yes, sir. Ticketmaster, Combat Zone 87. Use code Santiago in the unlock section.
Boom.
Shout out to New England Top Team. Shout out to Salem Wrestling. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to
that
go.
good shit.
I can't wait to fucking
To win this
go out
fight.
and perform.
Yeah.
That's
Rock
the
and
goal.
roll. We're
Let's
with you,
do
brother.
it. Oh, we'll be there. We'll be screaming.
Fuck
You know
yeah.
me, we'll be screaming. We'll be suited up.
Oh, yeah, I ain't going to have a voice on Sunday.
I know, that's right. I know, after the first one, I was so amped up. I'm like, man, it's just going to get better. Now it's bigger arenas. Fucking, you know.
Exactly. It's really cool.
It's gonna be
I'm
fun.
excited for it, man. I can't
Awesome.
wait.
Well, I appreciate you doing this.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you for
on,
having
man.
me.
All right, guys.
Rock and
Wrap
roll.
it up. We're good.
Let's go.
Done deal. Woo!